Hello and welcome back. We are currently in staffing chapter. In today's video, we'll talk about the topic called recruitment. One of the ways in which how you get people inside your organization, how you fill the roles inside your organization. Recruitment can happen through two sources. One is from internal source and the other is from external source. So people who are already working within the organization, you can use them to fill some vacancy inside your organization. So that is recruiting people from internal source, and external source is all about bringing completely new people inside your organization, which we will see in detail in tomorrow's video. In today's video, we will talk about how people are recruited through internal source and also what are the advantages and disadvantages of recruiting from internal sources. So there are two ways through which people get recruited from internal sources. One is transfers and the other is through promotions. So now first let's talk about transfers. Transfers can happen from one role to another, from one location to another, from one department to another, from one division to another, and from one shift to another. Let's see one by one in detail. One role to another. The person might be within the same department. For example, a person who has completed BCom with some post-graduation, he must be working inside account department, but he must be doing an accounts payable executive role. He will be transferred from accounts payable role into maybe accounts receivables role, or maybe he will be transferred into trade marketing role. He will be within accounts department only, but he may be transferred into a new role within the same department. So that is transferring from one role to another. Now, second thing is transferring from one location to another. This is a classic case that you must have heard a lot in your life. People working in government offices, people working in banks, people working in LIC, they all will be subject to geographical rotation every 3 years. People working in banks, whether they like it or not, every 3 years they have to face a transfer, and most likely the transfer will be from one state to another. That's why most likely if you are already children of parents working in banks or LIC, every 3 years your parents must be moving from one branch to another. So that is transferring from one location to another. Then transferring from one department to another. So this is a classic case of what happens when a CA joins in a big company. Generally, people when they recruit CAs, they recruit them into internal audit division. There they train the employees for 1.5 years. From there, they will transfer them to accounts department or finance department. Sometimes, if they are a science-based employee, let's say they are an engineer, so they will be working in production department. Then from production department, they will be transferred to plant maintenance. It's a completely different department. So they will be transferred from core production to plant maintenance. So this is how department transfers work. Also, sometimes marketing executives will be working in marketing like a marketing manager. They might be pushed into sales, or sometimes people working in sales division might get transferred into marketing if they have exposure in both fields. Okay, so that is transferring from one department to another. Now let's talk about one division to another. One division to another. This has happened in my office where there were multiple divisions. So we saw what is a division and divisional structure type of organization in detail in the previous chapter. A company can have 2-3 lines of businesses. So that company will follow a divisional structure of organization. So the company where I worked, they made shampoos, at the same time they made food products, at the same time they had saloon business, at the same time they also made pickles and snacks and namkeens. Each division had its own type of products and its own type of market. There was a marketing manager working in the shampoo division, personal care division. He will be transferred into a marketing manager in snacks division, or he will be transferred from snacks division to take care of the marketing of the milkshake and beverage division. So this is how divisional transfers work. And finally, one shift to another. So this is classic case where people who work in MNCs, and particularly MNCs with the BPO type of job, so they will be doing day shift, and then after 2 months they will be pushed into night shift, and then there they will work for a couple of months, and then they will be coming back to first shift. So this is transfer from one shift to another. Now let's talk about promotions. Promotion is where you elevate an employee from one position and move them into a higher position. I have already shared my promotion story in my previous video. Anyway, now the context is right, so I'll just share it one more time. When I worked in the organization as a chartered accountant, I got my first job as a CA. I got recruited as an executive in my first job, executive of internal audit. There I worked for 2 years. After seeing my performance, the company decided, okay, it is time that we give him a higher responsibility, push him to a higher position. So from executive of internal audit, I got promoted as assistant manager internal audit. Had I stayed there in that organization for maybe a couple of more years, I would have been promoted to deputy manager of internal audit, or I would have also been transferred to some other department. So deputy manager of planning and financial analysis department. So it could be anything, but promotion is where a person moves vertically up in an organization. Now let's talk about the merits and demerits of internal recruitment source in detail. So the first point is, this improves employees' motivation, commitment and loyalty to the organization. So let's say you are currently a graduate working in an entry level job. Now you see your seniors getting promoted and moving into higher job position, drawing more salary, getting more perquisites. It's a visual assurance for you that, okay, my seniors joined earlier and they did their work, now they are getting promoted. So similarly, if I follow my seniors' footsteps, if I stay the time and if I work hard enough and give results, I will also be promoted. I will also get more salary and more benefits. So this is a great incentive for employees to give good performance. It improves their motivation, it improves their commitment and loyalty to the organization. The second point is, simplifies process of selection and placement. It is always easy and it is always better to source a human resource from within the organization than to look for them outside the organization. It is time effective and it is also cost effective. It is also beneficial in one way that because the person is already employed inside the company for, let's say, 2.5 years or 5-6 years, they know about the company very well. And now if you promote them or if you transfer them to another part of organization, then they don't need one more induction program. They already know how the company works. So it is pretty time effective. Okay, let's go to the next point. Transfer, a tool of training for higher jobs. Now, if the company has recruited some star candidate, and if the company finds that this candidate will one day go on to head the company, he has that potential, she has that potential. If the company finds one such recruiter, then the company will frequently transfer this employee to work within almost every department of the organization, so that the employee will know exactly how each and every division, exactly how each and every function works inside the organization. So they need to get a generalized exposure across the organization. So they will be asked to work in this department for 6 months to 1 year, the next department for 6 months to 1 year. So like this, it will take almost 5 to 6 years for them to complete a full cycle. By the time they will be very, very well versed across divisions inside an organization. Therefore, if a person has enough exposure by working in all divisions, all departments inside an organization, they will make excellent leader material, because they already have a first-hand experience about how each and every division, how each and every department works. That will help them to conduct their leadership position in a much, much better way than a person who directly gets appointed, or a person who comes from just only one function. Okay, now let's talk about reallocation of resources is possible, surplus to deficit. In the previous video, we talked about a situation of overstaffing and understaffing. Overstaffing is where I have lots of people sitting idle, but I don't have enough volume of work to give them. But understaffing is a situation where I have lots of work to do, but I don't have enough staffing there. So let's say there are two departments inside a company, Department A and Department B, and Department A has 6 employees, but that department has only actual work of 5 people, work for 5 people. But Department B has only 5 people, but they have actually work for 6 people's worth of work is there. So now the person who is sitting idle in Department A will be simply shifted to Department B, and that way Department A will be properly staffed now, and Department B will also be properly staffed. So you don't need to go and recruit a new person afresh. So that's the point. Reallocation of resources is possible. And finally, it is cost effective, which we already saw. Recruiting from internal sources is time effective and cost effective. You don't have to give public announcement. You don't have to conduct interviews. It is extremely time and cost effective. Now let us talk about demerits of internal source recruitment. The first point is scope of fresh talent is reduced. Let's say the age of the people inside the company, none of them is new to the company. Let's say almost everybody in the company are like more than 5 to 6, 7 years old. That means they would have already been accustomed to one way of thinking. They will always learn to attack a problem in a particular way. Now, if people are conditioned and habituated to deal with a problem in a similar way, it will lead to less and less innovative ideas. It will lead to less and less creativity. So therefore, out of box thinking will not happen within the organization. Let's say the company has come across an extremely new type of problem. If people are recruited from internal source and a person who has already worked in the company for let's say 20, 25 years and he is now in the leadership position, then they may not think in a new way. So they may have to hire some external consultants help, and that will cost you money. So that's why scope of fresh talent is reduced, and also it will lead to curtailing of creativity. Second, employees can become lethargic due to time-bound promotions. We have seen this pretty much in government type of organizations where promotion is almost certain. As long as you just stay in the job, even if you don't deliver, even if you don't perform, purely on seniority basis, most of the people will get promoted. Just time-bound promotion, they call it time-bound promotion. You cannot do this in private type of organization. You have to deliver, you have to perform. If you don't perform, they will kind of send you out of the organization. But in government offices, job assurance is guaranteed. So employees, whether they perform or not, they will be, even organically, they will be promoted at least once in 4 years, at least once in 3 years. So they will start to think, why should I even have to work? Why should I even have to sweat? Anyway, I'm going to get my promotion, whether I work or not. That will lead to this lethargic attitude. Okay, not applicable for new enterprises. This is an obvious point. If the company has just come into existence, it's a brand new enterprise. It won't have any pre-existing employees that they can groom from internal source. So obviously they have to look from outside only. So it is not suitable for new enterprises. And finally, frequent transfers may happen employees' productivity. A company, if they transfer once in 3 years, it's fine, or once in 4 years, it's fine. But let's say there is a company that does not have a fixed time limit to transfer. So they go about transferring people the way they want, as how they wish. If particularly they don't like an employee, they might use it as a revenge tactic. So they might transfer him once in 3 months from one department to another department, and then another 4 months they may transfer him from one role to another role. Then they may transfer from him from one plant to another plant, that is one location to another location. Before the employee could even settle in that current job, he will be transferred to the next job or a next location. So this will hamper that employee's performance in the long term. The employee will be under pressure. There will be some teething issues for him. He will always be facing change management. So not good sign for an employee's career. So that's it for today's video. This is recruitment from internal sources, their advantages and disadvantages. In tomorrow's video, we will talk about recruiting from external sources, their advantages and disadvantages. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you and bye-bye.